Welcome to the Keep the Faith podcast. I am your host, Tori. It's a beautiful Sunday. Hope you guys had a great day at Sunday. At church, I'm talking about at Sunday. At church today. Church was awesome and amazing at the Tower, Strong Tower Christian Ministries, that is. Of course, today was our last Sunday at our current location. We'll be relocating next Sunday. The new location is going to be 320 East National Cemetery Road in Florence at the corner of Church Street and National Cemetery Road. We're having a huge celebration next week, so I'm encouraging you guys to come on out. It's the Love You to Life celebration. We're going to have the bouncy houses for the kids. We're going to have free food. We're going to do giveaways for the kids for school. So make sure you guys come on out to the Tower and let's celebrate. And of course, I got my girl, Jessica.
Hello.
I like to say in the building, but we online. Basically, we're gonna have this discussion today. And before we get into the topic at hand, today's sponsor is Truth Barbershop, located 1725 West Palmetto Street in Florence, Suite C, Florence, South Carolina. And their slogan is "The truth is in the cuts." And of course, I want to also give a shout out to a friend of mine, Miss Carlo. She re-released her CD, and I meant to have the CD in front of me because I actually have an actual copy of the original CD. So I meant to have the copy in front of me, but I do apologize. But she's actually going to be on a future podcast, so make sure you look out for that. So big shouts out to Carlo, a Darlington native. They played her music for her hometown local artist this past Friday on the gospel station Glory 98.5, 540 a.m. So I want to shout her out. Keep doing the things, and all the artists that are out here doing positive things, I want to show you guys love. But Jessica, I know you're nervous. Just calm your nerves. And I told you to basically just speak to the people as to what God gave you. Now, of course, we have Jessica, the guest today. And Jessica, before we get into the topic, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Jessica Goode. I am from Timminsville, South Carolina. I am 29 years old. And I recently just started my business. So it's Beauty Aesthetics by Angelina J. So I am, that's my baby right now. So I'm excited about that. And I am on my journey to discovering who I am in Christ, discovering all that God has put down on the inside of me. And it has been an eventful journey so far, and I'm excited. I'm nervous about what God has planned for me. And it has been a journey so far. He has been blowing my mind so far. So it's just keep moving forward.
And so today's topic is actually called In the Waiting. So basically, give us an interpretation of exactly what do you mean when you say in the waiting. And I'm actually going to go through some of the comments as well. Hey, Chelsea.
Hey.
And we're talking about in the waiting. So basically, that was the topic that you had. So basically, explain to us, the listeners, the viewers, as well as myself, what does in the waiting mean to you?
So for me in the waiting, basically what God has been dealing with me on lately, is just trusting him in the waiting, and also growth being pruning me, healing me. In the waiting is just him helping me to be strong in him, helping me to trust in him even in the waiting, and trust his timing. And for me, giving up control, taking my hands off stuff, and allowing him to be God, and allowing him to show me who he is.
Okay, so you talk about the healing process. Explain to us what that healing process looked like for you? Because you can only speak on from your perspective. What does that healing process look like for you?
Yeah, so the healing process for me was really being honest about basically my truth, being honest about what I struggle with, being honest about my issues, my trauma, And being honest with God about it instead of hiding it. I spent years hiding my pain, running away from my pain. And a lot of my healing started when I confessed literally everything, all of my addictions, all of my um, the things that I used to do to cope with stress or anything like that. Instead of just dealing with my pain, instead of just dealing with it, I would run from it. So I got to a point where I was tired of that. I got to a point where I was tired of being who I was. And I just wanted to heal. That was all I wanted. And I was willing to give up everything in order to confess, like, okay, God, look, I have trust issues. I don't trust. I am dealing with this addiction and that addiction, and I just had to be honest about it. And that's when God really did His work on me and freed me from so much. Freed me from so much.
Wow. And prophetess says being honest is truly the biggest part of healing taking place. And that's absolutely true. Now you talk
Mm-hmm.
about the addictions,
Mm-hmm.
vices. Go dig a little deeper, unpack that just a little bit when you talk about the addictions and the vices that you have to cope with the trauma.
Okay, so I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all. When I was, well, in my past, before I really gave my life over, I would deal with stress, but I was addicted to pornography for probably about 10 plus years. So that was my mechanism for coping. I did not express myself well. Whenever anything got to me, whenever anything got overwhelming, that's what I ran to. And for the past 6 years, it got worse because I was in a situation where I wasn't living my truth. And I knew when I was in it that that wasn't who I was. But instead of facing it, instead of dealing with it, instead of facing it and dealing with it, that's what I ran to. I would run to pornography. I would even run to alcohol. I was a person, every time I went out, every time I went to a restaurant, I had to have me a drink. Um, to help me cope. Every time I got off work or anything like that, I would have a glass of wine or two in order for me to just unwind or something like that. And it got to a point I was like, God, I don't want to be an alcoholic. I don't want to continue to do this in order to cope. So when I was honest with God about my addiction as far as pornography, when I was honest with Him as far as my drinking and stuff like that, it's just God really broke all of that off of me. He really did.
Now, what point did you realize that you needed to own up to your truth, hold yourself accountable, and
Mm-hmm.
what actually triggered you to know that to recognize it as a problem and know that
Mm-hmm.
there needed to be some type of changes made?
So I the situation that I was in, I was just trying to do everything on my own. And it just felt like at the time nothing that I was doing was working. I had took a job at I was at the beach. I took a job at the beach and I was driving back and forth from Florence. And it got real stressful, down to my body, down to my mind, on top of the stress that I was dealing with where I was living at. All of that just got too much, and basically it was as if I had a nervous breakdown. So it was like I wasn't eating, I was barely sleeping. Like, it just got bad. I was having panic attacks every single day. It got bad, like, mentally. For me, that was the most scariest place that I have ever been. And that's when I was like, God, I can't do this no more. I just want what you have for me. I cannot do this anymore. And I'm gonna be honest, the situation that I was in, I was with a woman for 6 years. I was in a relationship with a woman for 6 years, and all of that, I mean, the stress of all of it was just too much, and it completely broke me. I was driving back and forth to the beach from Florence, and that was like an hour. So I was barely getting any sleep. I was barely eating, and even at the job that I was at, they were overworking me. And then dealing with the stress of that job, it was just way too much, and my body just broke. My body broke, and it was like my mind broke, and that's when I knew that I can't. It was like God literally completely broke me all the way down to nothing, just to
Wow.
build me up, to show me that he can do it. And that's what it was. I got tired. You have to get to a point where you're tired, and you have to want it. You have to want it. You have to be tired of being the person that you used to be. And that's what it was for me. I saw what my pain did to somebody else. So with me seeing what my unresolved issues and my unresolved pain did to somebody else because I caused them pain, I didn't want that. And I was like, I'm tired of creating, of hurting people because of my unresolved issues. Hurt people really do hurt people. That is so true. And it's like it's really like a pain disease. And it was like, once you hurt this one person, that person is going to do what? Turn around and hurt somebody else, and it's going to spread like a disease, you know. And I got tired of that, and I was like, I don't want to be a part of that. So I was like, God, I really want to heal. I'm tired of running. I'm tired of using my childhood trauma, my childhood pain as an excuse. And I was just tired. And that's when God really showed out. And he has ever
Wow.
since.
This is awesome. I'm going to go through a few of the comments. Let me scroll back up. Victor says, so what made you decide you wanted to heal when you did versus healing earlier?
That's what it was when I completely broke. When I was as broken could be. When I just knew that there wasn't no other place to go but up. I was at the bottom of bottom. And again, when I got tired, and I saw what my pain did to somebody else because I wasn't truthful about the situation. I knew I wasn't who I said I was when I was in it, but I dealt with it for so long. So I carried that person through all of that for so long, knowing that wasn't me, just because of my unresolved issues. So,
Wow.
so yeah, that's when I decided that I wanted to change.
Okay. And Prophetess says, people can't get healed because they are not honest. That is so
That is
true.
true. That is true.
And Prophetess also said, help the people, Jessica. And Victor says, addicted to porn. Like, is that an addiction? Was it affecting your day-to-day life? I'm confused. Well, actually, I'm gonna let you answer, but that can be an addiction, but I'm gonna let you
Yes.
answer it because it's actually addressed to you. So you answered in your way.
Yes, that is an addiction. It's just like anything else. When you go, for instance, when you go and drink alcohol, like for me, when I drank alcohol, it was to cover up what I didn't want to deal with. So yes, it was addiction because I didn't want to feel what I wanted to feel. And when I would, when I would watch porn and everything, it gave me a temporary satisfaction. So when you think about any other type of addiction, whether it be drugs, whether it be sex, whether it be alcohol, whether it be food, whether it be anything, what are you doing? You're wanting a temporary satisfaction to make you feel good in that moment. So because I was not feeling good almost every single day, I took that time and I would just do it because I wanted to feel better. Yeah. Yeah, so it is an addiction. It is.
And Prophetess says, this is how we get free. God sees it anyway. He steps in when we open our mouth and be honest with ourselves and him.
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And Prophetess says, you are amazing, Jessica. Your mom says, yes, God. So proud of you. Prophetess says, your boldness. And yes, I listen. I'm listening. I'm in awe. Like, you have not, I'm in awe myself.
Yes.
Hurt people do hurt people. And then Prophetess says, right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you went through and when you recognize, because that's the thing, a lot of times we have these vices because you mentioned, and you stepping on my toes because with the different addictions, I never had an addiction to porn or anything, but I did have an addiction myself to alcohol was a vice for me, sex was
Mm-hmm.
a vice for me, and to be perfectly honest, right now,
Mm-hmm.
my thing is food. I have an addiction to food. Food is my comfort. Food is my vice for now. So
Mm-hmm.
how was it in regards to, was there contributing factors like with people that you had around you? Because sometimes the people that we have around us,
Mm-hmm.
conversations that we're entertaining a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times, and like you said, you watch porn, the things that we're watching things
Mm-hmm.
that we're reading and everything we
Mm-hmm.
entertain, that affects how we think as well and changes our
Mm-hmm.
perspective on a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. That
So
is
how
true.
exactly did you get to the point, if you had people around you that was contributing
Mm-hmm.
to what you was dealing with, did you make up in your mind that you had to cut off certain people or cut off different things, or how did you go about doing that in order
Um,
to start your healing journey?
yes. God really had to deal with me on that. He literally separated me. I was kind of in a cocoon, like a cocoon like for like the first three, like a couple of months. And God really, it took me a minute to really cut off the people that I needed to cut off. It was hard. Jesus, it was so hard, but I had to do it. So yeah, I had to cut off some people, and I literally had to separate myself. And it has been a challenge. Um, it really has. But how I have been dealing with it and coping with it is really seeking God, and really trying to continue to work on my healing. But yeah, I had to cut off. I had to cut off some
Okay.
people. Yeah.
And Victor says, so fulfilling a fantasy in your mind instead of doing it is physically, is that really a bad thing? And that's it. That's his question he's asking. So fulfilling a fantasy in your mind instead of doing it it physically, is that really a bad thing?
I mean, I think both is bad, because both still a form of addiction. Because I think ultimately it's I think what it is the core of why you're doing it. Like, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like it's still a bad thing. If you're doing it in order to cover up something, if you're doing it in order to not to deal with something, then yeah. Yeah. I think it's still bad. Yeah.
And I agree. I think it's both.
Mm-hmm.
K Jeanette says, good evening. Good evening, K Jeanette, the artist. And Victor says, seem like the lesser of two evils. Thinking and doing can't be on the same level. In some cases, depending on the person's mindset, it
Mm-hmm.
actually can be on. In some cases, that's just a case by case basis, depending on each individual person. But
Yeah.
sometimes you could think, sometimes thinking of something that you're not even doing is just can be just as bad. It depends. Like I said, it
Mm-hmm.
depends on each individual person, a case by case basis.
Right.
Dwayne says, I've been through porn addiction growing up just to escape the reality of the low self-esteem I was
Mm-hmm.
dealing with.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
and
Me
when it
too.
comes to men, that's I've noticed that with men, it comes when they deal with the porn issue. Well, from different male friends that I've had that dealt with a
Mm-hmm.
porn issue was pertaining to their self-esteem.
Right.
So
Right.
I can understand that, Dwayne. Prophet says porn can be watched in your thoughts, and a lot of people addicted.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That is true.
And she said, RD. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I said, like you said, it's actually both. I
Yeah.
think both is, like you said, just as bad. And Victor said, so if I'm a man in a relationship, watches porn and receives satisfaction, I guess that's cheating according to y'all. Hmm. Just I'll let you
Uh,
answer that.
oh, I'm gonna just be honest. To me, I think it is, and I'm just being honest again. Um, it, it's just kind of like, why? Uh, what is your reasoning behind it for doing it? If you're in a relationship where you are satisfied, like, or if you're in a marriage where you are satisfied, then why do you have to watch it? Like,
Right.
what is your intention behind watching it? Why are you watching it? If it's not, I mean, to me, I don't think there's no good reason to watch it. So it's just, why are you doing it? Yeah.
Right.
So I
And
think I think yeah, it's cheating. Yeah.
And Prophet says, watching it on TV, computer, or in your mind is all the same. And Prophet also says, Vic, it can lead to cheating. And that's the
Yeah.
thing. It can lead to cheating because a lot of
Hmm.
times cheating occurs before you actually do it. It occurs in the mind.
Right. Right. That is true.
It starts in the mind. So I just feel like it's all the same. It's all
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
Now, once you separated yourself, or once you realize you needed to be separated from certain people, people that that you may have separated yourself from?
Mm-hmm.
Did you reconnect with any of those people, or those people that there was like a permanent connection? Because I always say that there's people that sometimes you may need to disconnect for a season.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know for me personally, sometimes I have to disconnect for a season,
Mm-hmm.
and I may reconnect if I'm strong enough, if it's not going to allow me back into something that God delivered me from. Because a lot of times we
Right.
have to be careful with different people that say we were doing a certain thing, and when you hang around people that were doing something that you was delivered from,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we're not strong enough
Mm-hmm.
to not, like, if you're constantly reconnecting to certain people, you're not strong enough to not go back to what he delivered. For example, like, say for example, for me, back in the day, one of my vices was alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, there was a time where I had to drink. I literally had to drink every night.
Yep.
And when I was in college, it was bad. I was drinking everything. But as I
Mm-hmm.
got older, it just became wine. But it's just like I would do the wine every night. But I was like, I don't need
Mm-hmm.
this. And I asked God to deliver me from
Right.
drinking, so I could be around people, and I don't, I could be around people
Mm-hmm.
that's drinking, having a good time, and it doesn't affect me at all. But I
Right.
had to get to that point where I was strong enough.
Right.
So were there people that you disconnected from that you
Mm-hmm.
maybe had, that you're strong enough now that you can
Mm-hmm.
possibly be around them now and possibly minister to them? Because a lot of times people can change based
Mm-hmm.
on your walk. They see,
Right.
well, if Jessica can do it, then I can
Right.
do it too. If Jessica can be delivered from it, then I can do it too. Now we
Right.
have to be patient with certain people, because
Yes.
that healing process is not going to take place overnight.
Right.
So are there people that you disconnected from that you maybe reconnected to, or there's people that you had to permanently disconnect from?
Mm-hmm. Right now, it's both. So there's people that I had to permanently disconnect from, and there's some people that I had to temporarily disconnect from. Um, so I do feel like some moments I am stronger in some moments than I am in others. So right now, um, I don't feel like God is finished with me just yet. But again, if God was to tell me that, He want me to minister to them, or tell them whatever, then I will. But right now, I don't think I'm strong enough yet. I do continue to pray for the people that I had to disconnect from, and the people that I'm temporarily disconnected from, because I know, again, I know this is bigger than me, and I know that what they're doing is deeper, so much deeper. And I feel like that's for literally everybody. Everybody is not doing what they're doing for no reason. You get what I'm saying? Everybody is not drinking for no reason. There is a reason behind it, or everybody's not watching pornography for no reason. There's a deeper reason behind it. And once you really get to a place where you're just, again, honest with that root of it, then you'll be delivered from it. Like I said, I am stronger in some moments than others. I can be in a place where people are drinking and stuff like that, and it doesn't phase me or anything. What I find out is, the closer my relationship is with the person, the harder it is for me to be around. And I don't know if that makes sense, but if I don't really know the people too much, drinking and stuff, it does, with seeing other people drink, so it bothers me, but it doesn't bother me as bad. But just it's harder for me when it's people that I'm really close to, and yeah, it's hard.
Okay. Now let me
Hmm.
read Victor's paragraph, Lord Jesus. Victor says, y'all tripping. So I reckon if you see a good looking man in these streets and have a thought, that's cheating. A thought is just a thought, and action is more severe. I've been mad and thought about hurting people. If I'm going to be judged for a thought, I should have just went ahead and done the deed. Come on, y'all. Y'all doing too much. Victor, here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you are thinking about something, that's when you are, let me see, how do I word it? When you understand from a spiritual perspective, when you're thinking about something, it's just as bad as doing it. So if you're thinking it in your mind, you might as well go ahead and do it, because you've already done it in your mind, if that makes sense. But like I said, it's like a spiritual thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
If you think it in your mind, it's just as bad as doing it. So
Mm-hmm.
to answer your question, yeah, go, if you doubt it, you can go ahead and do it because you already created in your mind. Yeah, just go ahead and do it. Cynthia says it's best to separate yourself from things and people that will cause you to fall until you gain that strength to be around them and not want or desire to do what they are doing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
Because
true.
there's people that I know that I cannot be around.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Now, okay, I cannot pronounce your name, so please forgive me. But you say, how do you tell a woman you're not satisfied without her getting in her feelings? So what option does a man have if he don't have God dealing with her? So Jessica, how would you answer that?
Wow. Um, to be again, honesty, the truth will set you free. And that's the honest. The truth hurts. The truth doesn't feel good all the time. But it's better to tell somebody the truth than to just lead them on. Believe me, I know that firsthand. So it is so better to be honest with people. Again, they if you was to tell her that, 9 times out of 10, at first she's not going to accept that. And again, it depends on the mindset of that person. Wherever the mindset of that person is, will determine whether or not they receive it or not. Um, but I just feel like the truth will set you free. It's better to tell her, than not to, because then you're gonna be leading her on like you satisfied all these years, and
Right.
you're not, and yeah, yeah.
And to piggyback off what you just said, Jessica, it is a mindset thing because you have to realize a lot of times in regards to a person's mindset,
Mm-hmm.
if they are coming from, here's the difference with if a person is healed, they'll be
Mm-hmm.
able to receive what you're saying.
Yes,
But if
yes.
they're not healed, a lot of times they're not going to receive what you're saying. And when a person is not healed, a lot of times they reword what you're actually saying. They're not even actually hearing what you're saying. They're actually
But
rewording it in their mind because they're hearing it from a hurt place.
yes, yes.
Yeah, they're hearing it
Mm-hmm.
from hearing it from a hurt place. So
Yes,
when a person is healed, most of the time they're able
yes.
to better receive it. So,
Right.
like Jessica said, and I'm gonna say the same: be open and honest, and just prayerfully, hopefully, they will be able to receive it.
Yeah, yeah, because I had dealt with that for a long time as well. It was like anytime anybody would come and try to tell me something about myself, because I was in so much pain, I took offense to every single thing. You hear me? Like nobody could tell me anything because I didn't want to hear, because all of it was coming from a hurt place, and I would always try to be like, well, no, because you did it, like, and I would never receive anything. It didn't start until my healing really started, to where I really confronted all of that. And now I tell people, look, be honest with me. Like, please, that's what I need. Tell me the truth. Yes, it's gonna hurt, but I know it's gonna make me a better person at the end of the day. But I'm in my hit, like I'm healing, so I can receive stuff a whole lot better than what I used to.
Wow. And you
Yeah.
just said something: when you are not healed,
Mm-hmm.
everything offends you.
Yes, everything,
Oh, everything. Let me go
everything.
and let me go through a couple of comments. Minister Ross says, Minister and music miss. And Cynthia says, yes, Tori. Matthew 5:28 says, but I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart.
Wow.
Absolutely. That's it right there.
Wow.
That's the word. And Prophetess says, tell her anyway. And that was in reference to the comment in regards to being honest. And then Tanisha says, I agree with Jessica, being completely honest. Victor says, the truth will have you single. The truth is never welcome. No one likes the truth. We love lies. We love whatever makes us feel good. Tell lies. People love lies. Well, Victor, you listen. Victor, I ain't doing this with you today. Listen, like we said, like I was saying earlier, if the person is coming from a healed place, they'll be able to receive it. Now, granted, there are some questions that we may ask you from a woman's perspective. For example, we may be like, I know I've done this before. You mean we may be like, babe, do I look heavy in this? Do I look fat in this? Nah, in that case, yeah, lie to me just a little bit. Lie just a little bit. But for the most part, I'm joking, y'all. But for the most part, be open and honest, because I've been in some relationships where I appreciated the truth. It hurt. Oh my God, it hurt. But I appreciate it. I appreciated them being open and honest and telling me the truth.
Yeah.
And Journey, now I don't want to mispronounce the name, but you say, yes, Tori. And he says, men know not to say anything to a woman that already made up her mind about what she think happy is. Now, here's the thing when it comes to happiness. No one can determine your happiness. Happiness comes from within. That's something that you create for yourself. You got to be happy and whole within yourself before you can find happy. Now, we don't. That's why I hate when people say that you complete me or you make me whole. You have to be complete and whole and at peace before you're in a relationship. So what I would do, like I said, I want to mispronounce your name, but what I would do is actually pray. I'm an advocate of prayer, and hopefully, like I said, if you open and honest, then hopefully she'll be able to receive it. That's the best thing I could say. Just be honest about it, and you'll tell a person that's healed or not, depending on whether or not they receive it. In my opinion. Now, I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. But like I said, in the past relationships I've had, I really appreciate the truth. Now, it might have hurt and stung,
yes,
but I appreciate the hurt. I appreciate it too. Now, I got through. It might have took me a while from the sting of the pain,
right?
But I got through it. I got through it. So I would just say, tell the truth. And Dwayne says, porn addiction caused me not to open up in relationships because it made me scared of the disappointment of a breakup. So many of them failed because I was so used to people doing me wrong and couldn't accept anything good. Woo! Wow. Lord have Dwayne, I need you to have you on so you can unpack that.
Right.
Listen, that's
yeah.
That's good right there. Dwayne, I need you to holler at me. That's good. Because I need you to unpack that. That's good. That's real good. And one thing I can say about Dwayne, we are Facebook friends and we met in person. I am so happy that he's at a point where he has a beautiful family and wife and he's truly happy. And I'm glad to see that. So to know that God delivered you from this place is a beautiful thing to see. But like I said, Dwayne, reach out to me because I would love to have you on for you to unpack. That's good right there. And a lot of times, a lot of men are not going to admit those type of, they're not going to admit that. And that's good. That's real good.
Yeah.
And Victor says, Cynthia Yvonne, please. Okay. Victor, behave. And like I said, I don't want to mispronounce your name. I would just say Jermaine. So we got to wait until she heals to tell her no. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that when you tell a person how you feel, whether they're healed or not, based on their response, you will be able to tell whether or not they're healed. Because if they're not healed, they're going to actually reword what you're saying, and they're going to hear what you're saying from a hurt place. It's actually going to feel like an attack when it's actually not. Because let me tell you about myself. Before I got to a place, now granted, I'm still in my healing process, in my journey. But when I was so broken, so hurt, so, wasn't even starting the process of healing, like Jessica said, everything offended me. And I wasn't receiving it. And like somebody could say to me, because I remember dating someone in college and he said to me, let's work out together. And, because I want you to be healthy. But what I heard
Mm-hmm.
was you fat and you need to lose weight.
Yep.
And that's not
Mm-hmm.
what he
That's
said.
not. Yeah.
He just said, babe, let's work out together. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be around. But because I was in a broken state, I heard you fat, you need to lose weight. And that's not what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So based on when you tell her the truth, based on her response, it will tell you whether or not where she is mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing too, this is what I would advise you. Now, I'm no counselor or anything, but if you recognize that she's in a place where she's not healed, if she's the type of person that's worth fighting for, I encourage you to be patient with her.
And
Because
pray.
some people can be so broken that we need for you to be patient with us. We really need
Mm-hmm.
for you to be patient with us.
And
So
pray.
like I said, I pray
Yeah.
that it works out for you. And Jessica, you want to say something?
Oh, I was just telling him and pray. Like pray a lot. Like pray a lot. And like you said, Tori, just be patient. Really have grace. Because it is, this healing journey is not a fast journey at all. Um Granted, God does more than one thing at a time.
Mm-hmm.
He will be healing you and bringing out what he put in you all at the same time.
Right.
Because that's what's happening with me. It's like I'm healing, but I'm also discovering what he put down on the inside of me all at the same time. And it's not a fast journey. And he's not gonna spring it all on you at one time. You're gonna heal little by little by little. I am more healed than where I was, but I know I'm not finished. So there are some things, that people will bring to me where I do still take offense. You get what I'm saying? So then I have to really go back to God and be like, okay, God, so why did I take offense to that? Like, what is the root of the reason why I took offense to that? And God will tell you, especially if you want it, he will tell you exactly what it is. And I'm like, okay, God, will take it. I don't want it. Deliver me from it, so that I won't be in bondage to it again.
Okay. And Minister Roger says, yes, I will tell Tanisha that dress is not right on you. I like that. That's a way of it. Listen, I like that, Minister Roger. Yeah, just say babe, that's not right for you. I want to try a different color. Maybe, yeah, I can work with that. And Jermaine says, no projections. We just chatting. That's cool. And Cynthia says, I commend Dwayne for being so transparent as a man because that is what's needed in ministry. More men being absolutely.
I agree.
And I was actually watching a podcast, and there's a podcast that I watch. It's called Dear Future Wifey Podcast with Lateris. And one of the things that he said that stuck out to me, and I never heard this before. Maybe someone else has said, but that was the first time I heard it. And he said that when you're honest, like if a person, how he described it, if a person asks you a question and you tell them the truth, that's honesty. But if a person tell you something that you wouldn't know to ask, that's what transparency is.
Wow.
Yeah, and I love how he worded that, because here's the thing. Speaking of that, and let me go through a couple more comments before I make that point. And Jermaine says, meaning it is never a good time. Okay, I understand that. Mm-hmm. And Tanisha says, Roger Fox, thank you for your honesty. And Victor says, no one is ever completely healed. We just learn to suppress it. That's why when someone does something to trigger your feelings, you blow up on the wrong people. I'm talking about you women, all of y'all. No, you know what, Victor? I ain't doing this with you today. What you not finna do? Jermaine says, she, what about him? And the only way to the Father is him. Well, it's not all about, when it comes to relationships, it's give and take. It's not all about the women, just like women like to be catered to. We cater to men as well. So it's not all about us. The right relationship, the right person is going to be give and take. I'm not saying just cater to to her, because that's not the case. It's relationships are give and take, and you
Mm-hmm.
determine if a person is worth fighting for.
Mm-hmm.
You determine that. Like, that's based on the individual thing. You determine who's worth fighting for. And if a person is robbing you of your peace, if they are keeping you from God, and if they are preventing you from loving yourself, then I would say that's not the person that you need to be with.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the three key factors for me. If you're keeping me away from God, when I'm with you, I got to be somebody that I'm not. And you're robbing me of my peace, then you're not the one for me. And Renee Kane says, sometimes you have to pray for people and give them some space.
That's
Absolutely.
true. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Messina says, truth. Prophetess says, oh, Jessica, you sound like me. Cynthia says, Victor White. Jermaine says, the woman is too wise. God is first. That is what the woman can't stand to listen. Okay, I don't exactly understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't I don't understand that. Maybe explain that in the comments what you mean, because I don't understand that. And Victor says, Cynthia, you the exception. You know what? And Renee Payne says, it's hi Isis. Okay, I forgot you changed your name. What's up, Isis? But yeah, it's oh, and back to what I was, because I was losing my train of thought. Okay, back to what I was saying when we talked about honesty and transparency.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I said Lateria said that honesty is when someone asks you a question and they ask you a question, you tell them the truth. But
Mm-hmm.
transparency is something that somebody reveals to you that you wouldn't know to ask.
Right.
And my point to that was, when you revealed, which I did not know, the 6-year relationship was with a female. I didn't know that. And I
Yeah.
really appreciate your honesty. So my question to you is, to be totally transparent, to be in a relationship with another one for 6 years, are you at a point to now that you have been totally delivered and set free from that mindset or having a desire for another woman?
Yes. Because that wasn't who I was to begin with.
Okay.
I knew again when I was in it that that was not who I was. When I was in it, what I was wanting was love. I was looking for love. I was looking for somebody to understand me. Again, and that piggy banks off of my childhood trauma, because of my childhood pain and my childhood um trauma that I was going through. I was out searching for love. I was out searching for who I was. I was out searching for just anybody that will love me. And I connected with the first person that I felt like just understood me, that saw me, that heard me, um uh that just got me. And so but I knew when I was in it that wasn't who I was. So yeah, and when I really gave it over to God, when I really was just honest with God about it, um I just that's when he really worked on me and delivered me from it. Because again, a lot of it stemmed from, and I'm gonna just be transparent again, my dad left when I was younger. And so with my dad leaving when I was younger, I never felt really comfortable around men. I didn't trust men. I didn't anything like that. I didn't want anything to do with them, like any of that. But when I was completely honest with God about my struggle when it came to men, about my hurt, because of, a lot of people say that your fathers are kind of like your first love in a way, especially for daughters, because they're supposed to show you, how a man is supposed to treat you, X, Y, and Z. And because I didn't have that, I didn't know what to look for in a man. I didn't know um, what to look for in a man or anything like that. So a lot of it stemmed from my pain from that. So yeah, but I knew when I was in it that wasn't what um that wasn't really me. But I was so bold in it. I was like, well, if you can't accept me for who I am, like that's how I was. And so yeah, God really delivered me from that, because I was just honest with him about it. I was like, God, like I don't trust men, like so you gonna have to help me.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. I
Hmm.
appreciate your transparency. And I'm going to go through some of the comments. Jermaine says, when I asked him to clarify what he meant, he says, wisdom versus wisdom. Who has the knowledge to sum it all up? Okay, gotcha. And Victor says, is there a difference between being transparent and being honest? Well, I like the way that Later's broke it down, because transparency, like he said, when you're transparent, a lot of times you're unpacking things that people wouldn't normally know, as
Hmm.
opposed to if you're asking somebody a question and like if I say, well, Jessica's is the sky blue, and she told me, yeah, Tori, the sky blue, but like Jessica would have, when I'm being transparent, Jessica would not have any idea about some of the things that I experienced, like some of my childhood traumas, some of the
Hmm.
things I've been through in past relationships, whether it be with friends, family, whoever, like certain things she just would not know. So that's the difference between the honesty and the transparency. Because certain things, a lot of times, especially when they're dealing with trauma,
Hmm.
a lot of times we don't want to reveal certain things about ourselves.
Hmm.
And sometimes when we are transparent, then we can actually not only free ourselves, but we
Hmm.
can free other people, because
People.
there are some people that can release some things, and their things can be broken off because of
Hmm.
us being transparent.
Right.
You
Right.
might, I may reveal something like, well, dang, Tori went through that and she's getting through it, then
Hmm.
I can get through it as well. And listen, I'm like Jessica, I'm in my process. I'm
Right.
not completely,
I'm
I'm
not
not completely
completely.
healed yet. I'm in my process. So of course there's going to be certain things now that's going to trigger me.
Hmm.
And let me go to Tanya's question. Tanya says, can a person get you and you not become romantically involved?
Oh. Um. Ooh. I think that's hard. I'm gonna just say for me, that's gonna be hard. But I guess it depends. I think it depends on who you. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. Because I think once somebody get you, I think so though. I think you can somebody can get you and not be romantically involved. I think.
Do you think you could do it?
Yeah.
Is the question.
Yeah.
Okay, but it'll be a
Yeah.
challenge, or would it be
It
easy?
I think it just all depends on the relationship that I have with the person, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because like for instance, if it's just you can have a best friend or something that gets you right, that I don't know, that understand you or something like that, but you don't want to be romantically involved with your friend, if that makes sense. But
Right.
yet, if you're wanting to get to know somebody on a romantic level and they get you, then yeah, then I can see you being romantically involved. But if it's like, oh, my best friend, yeah, she get me, like I, yeah, and not want to be romantically involved or something like that. So I,
Right.
I think it just all depends. It
Yeah.
all depends. Yeah.
Yeah. It all depends. Cause see, here's the thing. That's a great question, Tanya. Because here's the thing. We have to be
Yeah.
careful. We have to be careful with the fact that sometimes that we have to be careful not to get involved romantically with an assignment. There could be a person that crosses our path and they are an assignment. And we have
Mm,
to be careful not to get romantically involved with our assignment. Because I know I've been in cases where it was an assignment, but in my
mm,
mind, I saw how fine it was.
mm,
Like I was supposed to be his friend, but I start looking at him from an impure place. So it can get tricky. I mean, I'm stronger now, but I'm talking like in past. Yeah, I got caught up on some assignments. God, like that's not why I put you in a life. No, so we have to be careful with that, not get caught up in our time. But anyway, let me go to Dwayne, see what Dwayne says. Dwayne says you must be honest with yourself when you are damaged, because when you don't, you hurt others. That's why I always told women I had trust issues. Molestation, like so many others, caused me to look at sex different when it was done to me at 5 years old. But once I forgave the person and condemned the spirit that tried to destroy me, I took the power back. And Dwayne, I applaud you. Now that right there is transparency.
Right.
That is some transparency. So I applaud you for sharing that. That is very, very, very powerful. Like I said, Dwayne, you gotta holler at me because I would love to have you on the podcast. That's powerful. And thank you so much for being so transparent.
Yeah.
And Victor says, seeing me for who I am and seeing me for who I'm aspiring to be is the difference, in my opinion. Okay, I got you. That's cool. Prophet says, yes, if you set boundaries that they respect. And that was the answer Tanya's question in regards to can someone get you and not be romantically involved? Prophet was saying, yes, if you set boundaries that they respect. Absolutely. That's a great point. And Malik says, yes, a person cannot want to kill the vibes with romantic drama.
Wow.
Yes. And see, I'm glad Malik said that, because I've had friends in the past where I was cool with, and they actually got me. Wow. But when they wanted to take it to another level, that was like a turnoff to me. Like, yo, because I have a friend. Well, I had to disconnect, but I had a male friend that like totally got me, but I didn't see him in a romantic way. And so when he wanted to cross the line, and I'm like, bro, I don't see you like that. I had to disconnect, because even though I told him that's not what this is, that's not what I want it to be, he still was saying inappropriate. So listen, blocking, deleting is my friend. So I'm glad Malik made that point. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Victor says, if you get me completely, we're going to be romantic. Not necessarily, Victor. Not necessarily. Victor, you get on my nerve. Cynthia says, it's better for a person to get you before the romance happens, because romance opens a whole other can of worms. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's actually a secular song that I used to listen to that pertains to that. Like a person, what was the guy? I think it was Music Soul Child, had a song, something along those lines, when you were like your friends and you cross that line.
Oh yeah.
Things start to change.
Get complicated.
What? That makes things so complicated. I think the song was Half Crazy, if I'm not mistaken. It was something, but that's one of the things you have to, and a lot of people have to realize that friendship is the foundation when it comes to relationships. Now, a lot of times people, and I've done it in the past, got in relationships and got myself in situationships when we weren't even friends.
Wow. Which
friendship should be the foundation. So that's a great point, Cynthia. And Victor said, I want to put that. You know what? And Prophet says, yes, Dwayne. Isis says, that's it, Tori. A lot of us get involved with assignments and wonder why we get caught up. Absolutely. And Tanisha says, Dwayne, that is deep, coming from a male standpoint. Thank you, sir, for helping free the people.
Yes.
And Victor says, I'm across lines, bridges, oceans, galaxies, or whatever for true love. You know what? Victor, you set apart, right? You just different. And Miss Tina says, friendship is key. Absolutely. A lot of times, here's the thing. And like I said, I have done it myself. You get involved with people, get in these situationships, and you ain't even friends.
Wow.
But you just like, listen, when Pastor K was talking today, I was like, ouch. When he was talking about things under the covers, you leaving your value under the covers. I was like, ouch. I was like, oh, Pastor K, that's what we doing? Really? That's what we do? But a lot of times we get in situationships and involve ourselves with people, and we ain't even friends.
Wow.
Like you're giving, think about it. You're giving somebody your body, and you can't even call this person if you stranded on the road.
Jeez.
You can't even call this person if you know what I mean? You can't call them for nothing. It's just a link up. Jeez. You can't call them. But you leaving your value in their bed. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. Jeez. So we have to be careful with that. When you know better, you do better.
Right.
And let me go through some of the comments. Dwayne, I think I saw that already. And Victor, okay. Hold on. Okay. All right. That was the last comment. But yeah, a lot of times we in the bed and we ain't even friends.
Yeah, I know. And then you left hurt.
Right. Right.
Feeling some type of way. And yeah.
Right.
Oh, Jesus.
Tanya says, got to be more careful. Absolutely. Got to be more careful. Yeah. We got to be quicker than that.
Yeah. Right.
And see, that's why I gotta get Pastor K and Prophetess on, because I really want to open this dialogue with soul ties, because people don't realize how deep those soul ties are. Yeah. And there's some people that don't understand it. And that's a conversation that we need to actually have.
Yes.
Because those soul ties are something serious. Oh, yeah. Something serious.
Something serious and strong.
And Victor says sex and love is two different things. Please don't confuse them. Listen, I'm not confusing the two, but I'm saying when you give your body to someone, it confuses things. And in some cases, depending on the situation, it is two different things. But a lot of times when we involve ourselves with someone intimately, it can affect our mindset. And we can be confused, think we're in love when it's just lust. So yeah, it's two different things, but everybody doesn't have the strong mindset to separate the two. So it all depends on the mindset. And Malik says, don't know how their family feels about them, how they love and respect their kids or mom. Folks investigate Facebook drama, but allow anyone in the bed. Oh, you better say so. Absolutely. You better say so. Listen. And see, here's the thing. When it comes to that, there a lot of times, like, say I'm dating someone, right? And I know that they have children. I have an issue with, if I'm dating you and I know you have kids and you're never spending time with your children, you're never taking care of your kids. I have an issue with that. If you're not taking care of your kids, your family, or doing your responsibilities that you're supposed to be doing, I have an issue with that. Because I wouldn't want to date someone, they're not taking care of their own kids, but they're taking care of my son, but you're not even acknowledging your child. I have a problem with that.
Right.
And that makes me look at you differently. And I also, a lot of times you can see somebody fine and stuff, but when they open their mouth and you see how they think, it makes you look at them differently. And I also pay attention to how people treat other people. Like if you're the type of person that likes to get over on people and things of that nature, that's one of the biggest things for you. I really pay attention to how you treat people.
Right.
Ooh. Lord, I pay attention to that.
I'm telling you.
And Tanya says, intimacy is soul ties, period. Absolutely. But see, Tanya, here's the thing. A lot of people think, and I've had some conversations with people that like, soul ties don't exist. They feel like they can be with this person, be with Tom on Monday, John on Tuesday.
Jeez.
And they don't know that all those spirits can. Listen,
Jesus.
If people would just understand the intimacy, if people would just get it, if people would listen, that's a whole nother topic. That's a
Right.
whole nother topic I got to explore.
Because all I'm thinking is, you sleeping with, all of these different people and you carrying what they have plus what you have.
And all the people that they slept with and everybody they slept with.
Right. And you're feeling, I'm going to just say for women, you feel all of that. You feel all of that, and that's just too much. And you wonder why. Like, you be like, since when did I become this angry? Like, I ain't never used to be this angry. Like,
right.
I'm telling you, it's
right.
Woo, that thing ain't no joke. It ain't no joke.
Listen, that thing be heavy, right?
I'm like, oh God, break this soul tie right now. Break it. I learned my lesson.
Right.
I'm telling you.
Victor says unset boundaries will have you confused. Unset boundaries and soul ties will have you confused. Tanisha says you're allowing deposits at your bank, but you can't withdraw from their bank because you're not on the account. Woo! That'll preach. Read between the lines. Listen, Tanisha.
Wow.
That's a whole sermon right there. Let me read that again. You're allowing deposits at your bank, but you can't withdraw from their bank because you're not on the account.
Ooh.
Woo! Tanisha.
Nah, if that don't make people stop doing what they do, I don't know what.
Listen. Isis says you can romantically be involved with someone and start off being the best friends, and they still aren't the one for you spiritually. Time to exit stage left. Absolutely. If you cannot satisfy me spiritually, now if you can't, it's a big thing for me now. If it's okay for you to be with me, but you don't care about my soul. That's a big thing for me. If you don't care about my soul. And that's why I said, if you are a distraction for me from God,
yeah,
gotta disconnect, whether it be friends, family, whoever. That's my biggest thing. If you disconnect if you are a distraction from God, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm out. And Tanya says, if you're a half-ass parent, that's a major turnoff. Listen. Big turnoff. Victor says, what your partner does with their children shouldn't be a concern. You could miss out on something great because of an assumption. Okay, so Victor, so you telling me that you can honestly be with someone knowing that they're not a responsible parent, they're not taking care of their duties as a parent, and you still could. Oh, okay. I'm gonna leave it at that because Victor, I ain't trying to get a headache because you listen. I ain't doing this with you today, Victor. Malik says energy transfer is a real thing. Absolutely. And I wish everybody would understand that it's a real thing for real. Isis says women are carrier, men are depositors. Hence why we feel what we feel when we connect physically with men.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That is so true.
And Victor says soul ties is a myth. We adopt to what we want to adopt to. Love and monogamy is so simple. Women can't just be content. Victor, get off this live. Like exit stage left. So trust me, soul ties is not a myth, Victor. It really ain't. It really ain't. It's not a myth. It's a real thing.
It's like, why do you think God tells us to wait until marriage? You get what I'm saying?
Right. And he's saying the Isis, my spirit and my flesh is completely different. My soul is my responsibility, not yours. My flesh is my partner's responsibility. Okay. Victor. Oh, you know what? Let me see what else Victor say. A woman can give her kids up for adoption and that be the best option. Now, that's not what I'm talking about, Victor. I'm talking about, that's not what you're missing my point. I'm talking about, okay, say you are, how can I best describe what I'm saying? Like, say you're dating a woman that with kids, and you know that they have kids that they're responsible for, and they are constantly um putting their kids off on other people instead of taking care of their responsibility. Like, they go to work and their kids are always with other people, whether it be with their mother, with the kids, with grandparents, or with friends or whatever. But that's what I mean by that. I don't mean like when it comes to an adoption. I mean, like, if they're not taking care of their responsibilities, if they're the type of person that they're not handling their responsibility, point blank, period. Their child is always, you traveling the world, you working and you traveling the world, but that child is, in a nutshell, that child is being neglected.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean by that. So I get it. Yeah, adoption sometimes is the best option, but that's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about if they're purposely not taking care of that child. Like, and here's another thing too. Like, say for an example, because I've seen it done. Let me tell you a situation I've observed. There was a person that had two children. They were color struck.
Mm-hmm.
One of the children was light skinned. The other child was dark skinned because they had different fathers. Mm-hmm. The light skinned child was always dressed in the finest clothes. The dark skinned child was neglected. The dark skinned child always had dirty clothes. The dark skinned child was dirty, had odor and all that. So that's what I mean when you're neglecting your children, whether it be in a situation like that or just in general. Because for me personally, I'm gonna go without so my son can have. Mm-hmm. If I have to not eat so that my son can eat, that's what I'm gonna do. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm referring to. And say you have a woman that's always with you when you and she always find a babysitter to be with you. That's the type of thing I'm talking about, Vic. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, Isa says I can't with Vic. Dwayne says sometimes lustful moments can cause damage to your heart in the long run because it becomes all about pleasure at that time and not the true love you deserve. But many will automatically think that they are in love when their flesh gets satisfied and their heart gets ignored. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And Victor says the most responsible thing I see is them finding someone to care for them. She could have left them alone. They aren't neglected. She did drop them off. Victor, you know what? You missing, you know what? Anyway, it's time for us to wrap it up.
Look, on that note. Oh, goodness.
Lord have mercy. And Isa says, thank you, Dwayne. Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, Jessica, in regards to In the Wait, what are some of your final thoughts and encouragement that you would give someone who is in the wait in regards to whether it be their healing process, relationships, in regards to deliverance, everything that you discussed and covered today? What would be your final words in regards to everything that you actually shared today? Like, you talked about the healing, you talked about deliverance, you talked about separation and being separate and isolating yourself from certain people. What are your final thoughts with, summarizing, paraphrasing touching bases on everything that you shared with us today? And thank you once again for sharing with us and being so transparent. Yeah. Now, see, I know that you was nervous before you came on, but you have no idea how many people you have freed. So I tell the Lord, thank you, because listen, you don't know who may have heard the words that you said, and you freed some people today. Yeah. So let this be a door opening for you to a conversation that we had that we ain't gonna talk about on this live. But we had a conversation of you stepping into something that an opportunity that you need to pursue, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. But just acknowledge God and seek God for guidance in regards to that. But what are your final thoughts and final words?
I say give yourself a lot of grace and patience, um, especially with yourself. If I'm not learning anything else with myself, I really have to give myself grace and give myself patience, because again, it is a healing journey. And how I put it is, it came to me the other day. It's just like when kids are learning to walk, when kids are learning to ride a bike, they fall. I don't know how many times before they fully get up and start walking, then they start running. It's the same thing on this journey. You are going to fall a lot. You're going to want to quit a lot. You're going to want to scream, cry, yell, all of it. You're going to want to give up all of it. But just know that is it's a part of the process, and God is with you every step of the way, even when it feels like he's not. He's always there. So really give yourself grace and just the honesty. That's really the thing too, just being completely honest with your truth, and also feeling the pain, because I know that's why a lot of people don't want to face their truth. They don't want to be honest about certain things because they don't want to face the pain of it. They don't want to feel the pain of it. But once you get through that pain with God, I guarantee you God will show. In those moments, that's especially when God will show you who you are. So because I know for me, I thought that I had to be perfect before I came to God. And so that's why I stayed in what I stayed in for so long too, because I just thought I had to be perfect. I was like, God, I'm not perfect. I no. But God, I'm realizing now God wants the brokenness, because that's where he can really show you who he is and what he can do in and through you. So it's like, God, I give you all my brokenness, because I would love to see what you can do in me. And so yeah, just being just patient with yourself, giving yourself grace, and just knowing that it's a process and it does take time.
That was good, Jess. And I'm gonna go through a couple more comments before we wrap it up. Victor talking about when Dwayne come on, I'm gonna be ready because he ain't helping us men out. Talking about, come on, Dwayne. Victor, you get on my nerve. Victor said, Jessica, are you being transparent or honest? We need to know.
I'm being both.
Malik says, testimony is how truly preach and teach. Bless up, young queen. Thank you for tuning in, Malik. Yes, what's up? And Victor says, another great podcast. Love the conversation. Love your jacket, Jessica. Y'all be safe and let us all keep the faith.
Thank you, Victor.
Victor, almost an hour and a half. My kind of podcast. Listen.
Me and Tori can talk like this for hours.
We're supposed to be going like 20 minutes or
so. Me and Tori can talk like this for hours.
And Dwayne's about But Dwayne, seriously, holler at me, because I would love to have you on as well, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot that you can share to open up some doors and create some great conversation and dialogue. I would love to have you on as well. And Malik, I would love to have you on as well, because Malik is deep too. So I would love to have Malik on the podcast as well. But Jessica,
yes,
you did a phenomenal job. I am super proud of you. You did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
And the thing you like, I kept asking Jessica, you written? I think girl.
Look, I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, this is my first time ever doing a podcast. I was just so nervous. And just, also being nervous just to tell my truth and to be honest. But I really had to just stand firm on knowing that, like you said, my truth, my transparency can set somebody free. So, and I want everybody to be free and healed, and it's no other feeling like it. Just being free from bondage. I'm telling you, there's no other feeling like it.
Okay. And Dwayne, you say, I got you, Tori. Yeah, holla at me. And your mom says, well done. I know mom is proud.
Thanks, Mom.
Well done. So you definitely got to come. Like I said, you got some work to do. And like I said, the conversation we have, and I'm gonna leave it at that. You got some work to do. But I appreciate everyone that tuned in. Make sure you share the podcast. I actually streamed on 3 different pages today. I streamed on my personal page, my Keep the Faith with Tori Facebook page, and my Keep the Faith with Tori YouTube page. So if you missed the beginning, you can definitely watch the replay. And like I said, make sure you share the podcast as well. And let me see what Victor says. Victor says, to be transparent, me and Dwayne beefing. Listen, whenever I get to Victor, here's the thing. Hopefully, because both of the two of you have busy schedules, but hopefully when I can get Dwayne on, listen, I don't know if I need to put this out there, but I might need to have both of y'all on there. But I don't know, because Victor, you be starting trouble. Mm-hmm. You be starting trouble. And this, I don't know, this person came up, it says awesome job. It came up Facebook, you on my end, but it says awesome job. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And like I said, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. And Dwayne says, we cool, homie. And then Darian, why your name is not coming up? What's up, D? Why your name ain't coming up? It just says Facebook user on my end for some reason. And Victor says, me and Rod need to sit down and hash it out as well. Yeah. Listen, let me holler at a few of you men, see I can get you guys to come together. And Darian talking about he don't know. Listen, I don't know what's going on. I don't know why your name is not coming up. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, D. Matter of fact, I'm glad you said something. The podcast was brought to you by Truth Barbershop, which is located 1725 West Palmetto Street in Florence, Suite C, Florence, South Carolina. The slogan is, the truth is in the cut. Darren, listen, I might need to get a shape, come back and get some shape, get a shape up. But I got to make sure I put that appointment in, right? But anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. And like I said, make sure you share the podcast, because I really think it was very, very, very powerful. And like I said, when I always in the show, I always tell people that no matter what you go through in this thing called life, you may bend, but don't you dare break. And in everything that you go through in life, always remember to keep the faith. And Victor also says, free food, baby, next Sunday. Okay, Victor, matter of fact, I'm glad you said that. Victor, today was our last day in our current location. We're actually relocating. So the new location, our church's new location is going to be 320, Lord, I hope I said this right, 320 East North National Cemetery Road. I think that's right. Lord, I'll put it in the comments. But Victor, we actually moved the location that the location that you are familiar with. Today was our last day in that location. So we're going to be in our new location next Sunday. So please come out if you're not working, because I know how busy your schedule is. Please come out. And matter of fact, if you come, Victor, bring the kids, because we're going to have things for the kids as well. There's going to be free food, activities for the kids. So bring them out. Like I said, our Strong Tower Church family, we're going to be in our new church home next Sunday. And it's going to be a Love You to Life celebration. So you guys come on out next Sunday. Matter of fact, I'll post on my page the details for next Sunday. But we are going to be in our new location. I'm so excited. God is just moving. God is moving. And I'm blessed to be connected to some wonderful people. So I'm just grateful. Yes. And Jasmine says, I'm coming back to visit. Absolutely. Jasmine, come on. Holla at me. Definitely come on back. But with that being said, Jessica, you have definitely got to come back. And I know next time that you come back, you'll be more comfortable and relaxed. And next time it's gonna be like a breeze.
Yes. I thank you so much for this opportunity. I really do. Thank you.
You're welcome. And just hang on a second. Once we end the live, just hang on for a few seconds for me. But thank you guys for watching, and make sure you guys share the podcast. And if you missed the beginning, make sure you watch the replay. You guys be blessed. You take care and be safe. And I'll actually post on my personal page and my Keep the Faith page. I'll post details in regards to our church celebration for next Sunday. But you guys have a blessed Sunday evening. Enjoy the remainder of your evening, and we're out. Peace.